Disclaimer: the story you are about to watch is fiction. Please do not pour acids and/or bases into any bodies of water. Thank you.
It was a dark and stormy night. Lina was finishing up a long day of work at the semiconductor factory. Suddenly, she heard a loud splash. She followed the sound outside and saw a strange man dumping a barrel of hydrofluoric acid into the pond.
I have to report this. I hate pollution.
The next day, Lina goes to the company headquarters to report these illicit activities.
I know this sounds crazy, but I swear I saw a man dumping hydrofluoric acid waste into the pond. You have to do something about this.
Lina, you're a fine chemist, but this time you've gone too far with your stories. You are fired. And if you say anything about this to anyone, you'll be buried in lawsuits.
But Lina wasn't finished. She decided to sneak back into the factory that night and save the pond herself.
How do you neutralize a weak acid? First, I need a strong base, such as this sodium hydroxide. Then, I need to find out the amount I should use.
She desperately began to search for any information that would help her with her calculations.
Oh, that was easy. According to this report, they have been dumping a 50-liter barrel of 1 molar hydrofluoric acid every week for the past 5 weeks. That's really bad.
Since this file says that there's 250 moles of hydrofluoric acid in the water, all I have to do is neutralize it with an equal molar amount of a strong base, so let's try using sodium hydroxide. If my calculations are correct, then what I'll be trying to do is to reach the equivalence point, so then all that we'll have after the weak acid's fully reacted is just a salt and water. If we do a titration curve of a weak acid like hydrofluoric acid with a strong base like the sodium hydroxide, then I'll reach the equivalence point and have an equal amount of weak acid and strong base with equal amounts of both. And checking my calculations, the reaction of hydrofluoric acid and sodium hydroxide just makes water and sodium fluoride. Sodium fluoride is already in drinking water most of the time, and water will just dilute the pond water, so I won't have to worry about that too much. Checking the fluoride ion in normal water, it just forms some hydroxide and hydrogen fluoride. After finding the pH from the amount of hydroxide formed, it looks like it'll be just above neutral, perfect for Austin's naturally basic water.
Lina gathered the equimolar solution and dumped it into the pond. The next day, Lina reported the company to the EPA for what they had done, and the CEO was fired. Lina got featured on a news story and was appointed the sustainability leader at the new semiconductor factory.
I just knew I had to fix things before they got out of hand. I was just doing my job.